What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? What is happening? I'm Dom with the Great Man Sauce. Hope you're still living, loving, and breathing sport. I changed it up this week, mate. So, what's happening? It's
I'm
either
still
I changed it
excited,
up,
mate.
or it's either I changed it up or completely fucking forgot the intro.
It's all right. We'll just wing it off the cuff. Good to see Adam in the chat. First of all, Adam, how are you, mate? We're going well. I hope you're well. I'm not sure we didn't see you at the Hobby Hangout XL. I'm not sure if you made it down there, mate, but it was a great event. We'll talk about it later in Hobby Talk, so stick around for that and give our sort of rundown on the event. But yeah, Dom, mate, it's been a big week in sport. They've got the Thursday night footy on at the moment. The doggies went down early. They're coming back 21-32 against Hawthorn. Got that on in the background. And we'll nail into a big week in the AFL, a few big games on the cards. And obviously, we cannot forget, because game one is tomorrow, Doma. Game one tomorrow, NBA Finals. My boy SGA against my boy Tyrese Halliburton. How funny is that, Doma? Two guys that I talked about on this podcast that I actually said you should buy his cards. Yeah, and you'd be doing really, really good if you did, like I have on SGA. Halliburton, unfortunately, I reckon I was just a little bit late on Halliburton, but I was probably early enough, but I didn't go hard. Not as hard as I did it as on SGA, but sold his card a while back. It's good to see. It's good to see them two in the finals. I'm actually happy for either team, either guy to win.
I'm not.
I'm happy for either team to win.
I'm not.
Dom is not, and we'll talk about that when we get to NBA, unless we're starting with NBA.
We'll start there. Start there.
there.
I'm not. Only one guy has to win, mate. Simple as that.
SJ.
Yep. There's a dynasty waiting to happen right there, baby.
Just think about the amount of picks. If they win now and the amount of picks they've got and the flexibility to trade and get guys in with those picks.
But you probably don't even have to. Yeah, you just use them for role players. You don't have to get a superstar. If Chet can stay healthy and you got J Dub and SGA, that's enough, mate. That's your big three right there. That's it. They got defenders on the team. I'm telling you, I think they need to win. I want to see another dynasty, and I think it's Oklahoma. It's not Indiana, mate.
Can I also give a shout out to Caruso? Off the bench, contributing massive again in a championship caliber team.
Did that somewhere else and got traded.
Got traded, man. Why? Once again, it always comes back to this. You know what I mean? It always comes back to this time. Why did we trade him? Why? Anyway, he's found a new home and he's been very good.
If the Pacers end up winning, congratulations to them. But I want Oklahoma to win. I think they win in 6.
6.
Yeah, maybe even 5. Because they absolutely dispatched the Minnesota Timberwolves. And you got to understand, when you look at that Pacers series, they came back from 20 like 3 times. That's more of a poor reflection on the New York Knicks than it is a great look for the Indiana Pacers. The New York Knicks dropped both of their opening home games in the series. They were down 0-2 before they even had to go travel. The series is done when that happens. It's done.
Hey, and I told you at the start of the season, once again, pre-season, I said $5 they're giving you. Go over to Betfair, and if you know how to use the platform, lay them to lose the East at $5, whatever they were offering. You would have made money, ladies and gentlemen. At the start of the season, I said that is a joke that they are $5 to win the East, and it just proves it. Because they got beaten by the Pacers.
Just going to say it. Just going to say it. If you haven't heard it, you would have heard it here first. If you listen to this podcast, we've told that many players in that many sports to shut us up. And once again, we've been proven right. You will never win Karl Anthony Towns. As simple as that. Straight out.
That's what we say. We won't win with Cat on your team.
We said James Harden will never win a title. as the main guy on a team. You could win one as a role player eventually coming off the bench later in his career. We don't know. Just saying. Just said it. And before Manny, in particular, runs to the chat and says, "Yeah, but you ate your humble pie when Messi won a World Cup." We just like to remind you about that too, ladies and gentlemen. For a year and a half before the World Cup, Sauce and I said Messi was winning the World Cup. Like, put your whole house on it. Put your whole life on it. That's what we said. So you can go find the timestamps, go do your own research. But just saying, not to toot our own horn, but when we're right, we're right. When we're wrong, we'll admit it too. But just saying, just saying. Just remember that. Just remember that general manager's poll Source. I think in 2018, 2019, they polled the GMs in the league, and they said if you were to start a franchise, who would you start with? And the majority of them picked Carl Anthony Towns. Now, whoever you were as an owner of an NBA franchise that said that, there's pretty good confidence that you haven't won a title since that poll. So, as we keep discussing, I'll actually go do my fact checking. I'll be interested to see if it was an anonymous ballot or if there's actually names to the owners that put their name to that in the ballot. Because if you're not named Lakers, Boston, Warriors, and you've won a title in that time, Milwaukee, it'd be pretty funny. It'd be pretty funny if you have someone like New Orleans saying, "I'll start with Cat," or New York saying, "I'll start with Cat," and they've done absolutely zero. And you can see why.
Well, New York's fired Tibbs. You seen that? They fired him. He's gone.
Yeah, that's all right. That's the problem. You traded for Carl Anthony Towns. That's your problem.
Who makes that decision? Does Tibbs make that decision?
No, well, probably a part of it, but the front office. Anyway, good luck to SGA and Oklahoma City Thunder. That's my pick. It's either going to be 6 or a gentleman sweep in 5, mate. You heard it here first.
I just think their defense is another level, and if they get those big leads, they won't let it slip like the Knicks. I think they'll be prepared for that, knowing that they have the ability to come back. And yeah, I think OKC win. Yeah, look, I think we're going to see 6 games. NBA Finals, unless it will tell us tomorrow if they go on and smack them, Doma, and win by 20 plus, and then potentially do that in the next game. Then we're going to know this is going to be a gentleman's sweep because they're probably definitely going home and going to their home and pinching at least one game.
Well, I can tell you right now, the poll was in 2016-17 season.
Yep.
Right. And it was anonymous, and 48.3% of the franchises in the NBA clearly have no fucking idea about how to start a franchise, because they said 48.3% of owners said they would start with Carl Anthony Towns if they were starting a franchise today. You, ladies and gentlemen, are all lemons. You know who was second and third? The guys that you and I probably would have picked. Kevin Durant and LeBron James. What the hell's the matter with these idiots?
Who's picking Cat over them two? Seriously.
Half the league, apparently.
Tom, I think we could be better GMs than them.
100%.
Seriously. Hey, just my skills on 2K alone, mate.
That's right. I just go to Trade Finder. I let the computer do it for me.
AI trades. Let it all figure it out.
Hey, Jerry Krause would have picked Carl Anthony Towns over Jordan if he got rid of him. Doma looks like a call center operator going to casual dress day as a football hooligan who couldn't punch their way out of a wet paper bag. Yeah, that's funny. That's very funny.
You stitched you up there.
That's okay. I'll cop it on the chin. Anyway, your prediction before we move on. Games.
OKC 4-2.
4-2. Very nice. All right, so let's get on to the AFL results from last week. Bombers defeat the Lions by... Lions defeat the Bombers by 18. You got much to say in this one, or...
Yeah, look, it's one of those honourable losses. You know, we got slapped in the first quarter, and I thought, oh no, here we go. It's gonna go one of two ways. We're either gonna learn a lesson from the Bulldogs game, or we're gonna have not learned anything. And you know, I think it shows that we've actually taken a step forward because we fought back and we played very well. We actually even got in front by a goal in the third quarter, Doma. We just couldn't go on with it, and you know. In the end, they were a bit more cleaner in the last 15 minutes of the game, and that was the difference in the end. But nonetheless, it was good to, you know, fight back the way they did. And, yeah, it was an honourable loss. But, yeah, look, Brisbane, they're not playing the best of footy, but they're still getting wins. So that just shows that they actually, it's funny, if they were playing at their peak performance, they could, you know, definitely beat sides, you know, 40 plus comfortably. But yeah, look, good honourable loss. That's what I'd say. Can't be that too upset, Dom. We have a lot of players out. How can you be, you know, and you're versing the reigning premiers up there at the Gabba? We don't have a good record there. We saw bright signs from Caddy, the goal over the head. You know, the way it was flying for marks, and then we've seen some other young blokes that have come in and made an impact over the last few weeks. So, yeah.
It's good. Next game, we had the Pies defeating the Hawks by 51, and this was more of a statement game for the Pies than Hawthorn playing poor, I thought, in my opinion. They just dominated. And to anyone that said there's a North Melbourne supporter that you felt pretty good with the 45-point loss when Hawthorn lost by 51 to them the following week, I'll just say this to you, North Melbourne supporters. We lost to their seconds, along with Oleg Markov, who's probably in their fourths. No offense to him. And if they played the 6 premiership players that came back into the side last week against Hawthorn, we would have lost by 100 points. They had no Mychek, no Bobby Hill, no Lockie Schultz, no Pendlebury, no Sidebottom, no Darcy Moore. Do I have to say anything else? That's it. That's all I'm saying. And you couldn't even stop Jamie Elliott. So just imagine if they had all those forwards, we would have got cooked. As Saucy says, barbecue chicken style, baby.
Barbecue chicken.
Let's keep moving on because this was a great win by Fremantle, defeating Gold Coast in Gold Coast. It's a big win for them. Nothing more to say. They've really put it together. Andrew Brayshaw is top 10 champion data ranked player in the AFL this year, so he's gone to another level, which is pretty good.
Yeah, look, I don't know sort of what to think of Fremantle. I mean, this is 2 good away wins that they've put together, one against the Suns, one against GWS. We've seen the flip side where they were terrible against St Kilda, but since that, you know, game against St Kilda, they've sort of come out and rectified that over the last 2 sort of away games that have been tough. You know, if Freo's able to play these type of games away from home and then go back at home and take care of business, maybe they can potentially be a top 8 push for top 4 if they go on a run. They still have the capability. It's pretty close there. So, yeah, look, I don't know what to think. I'm still torn about Freo. They can be the inconsistencies. Are they still there, or have they gotten rid of them? It's yet to be decided, I think, Doma. But yeah, good win by them nonetheless. Very good win.
Yeah, they've got a nice home game.
Gold Coast first time they've lost there in over a season.
Yeah. So big win for them. Then we had the Giants defeating Richmond by 3 points, and the Giants were losing this by a mile at one stage, and they came back against the Tigers and got the job done, which is expected of GWS, but unfortunate for the young kids at the Tigers. Then the Swans lose by 90 to Adelaide at home at the SCG. They got buried. It was 75-15 at halftime. Yes, you heard that correct. 75-15.
I don't know. Yeah, look, I know they got a lot of outs and stuff, but they were still putting up a fight with a lot of these players out before. You know, they were able to stay in games, and
I think they just checked out this season, mate.
Yeah,
they're in trouble.
Who knows? Who knows? Do we get a response this week from them? It was disappointing, and Adelaide just took care of business, really.
Yeah, they're too good.
Yeah,
very good. Next,
they put the foot down when they seen the opportunity.
Yeah,
which is what you got to do.
Next one, the D's defeated the Saints. Lost to the Saints 63-91 in Alice Springs. So they go back to Alice Springs again to lose to the Saints. So not a good result for the Demons, but a good win for the Saints. So good stuff there for them.
Where are the D's at? That's the question, Domo. Where are the D's at?
They're in a bit of limbo.
We don't know. We don't know. We still don't know. We thought they were all back, but maybe not. Maybe we jumped the gun.
Yeah. Last game, Cats defeat West Coast by 43 to continue their
put up a good fight, West Coast, but just
Bailey Smith another 3 votes in that game as well. So he's leading the
Brownlow. Jeremy Cameron, I think he bagged 4 goals in the last quarter. One of the great last quarters you'll see, Domo, by Jeremy Cameron.
Bailey Smith's leading the Brownlow, I think. He's been very good. Then obviously we got our round 13 games. So obviously our tips, Saucy. Who we tipping tonight? I know it's not halftime.
I would have tipped the Dogs. So
I would have I forgot to do my tips, so I got Hawthorn, but I also was going to tip the Dogs. So I'm just going to go with it. Even that at the moment I've got the tip right. Tomorrow night we've got Adelaide versus Brisbane at Adelaide Oval.
Adelaide.
I'm going Adelaide as well, based off form. Saturday we have at the G at 1:20 the Tigers versus the Swans.
This is an interesting one, and I feel like we're going to get a response from Sydney this week.
You reckon? I'm going to tip Tigers, to be honest.
I know you're going to tip the Tigers. They got Noah Bolter will be back in. I'm not sure if Lynch has been named in. I'm not 100% sure.
No, it was just one in.
Yeah,
it was one in.
So I'm going to go Sydney.
Okay,
but it's going to be a close match, and I think the Tigers will think they can win.
Yeah, 100%. Then the Cats play the Suns at GMHBA Stadium. I think this is a danger game. I know GWS is the one that has the wood over the Cats at GMHBA.
Yeah, I'm going to go the Cats.
I'm going Cats as well. They'll continue.
Dangerfield, I don't know. He was potentially coming back.
He's named. Yeah, he's playing. GWS versus Port Adelaide in Canberra.
GWS.
Yeah. I'll tip them with not a vote of confidence, but and then we've got North Melbourne versus West Coast at Hands Oval in Bunbury, which is in Perth.
Danger game, Dollar. It's no guarantee.
This could come to bite us in the arse. We sold 2 of our home games to be played as Perth home games against both Perth clubs. So effectively, they're playing 2 away games as home games, West Coast and Fremantle. We are $1.59. We are the favourites. But it's a tread carefully. I'm going to tip North because they're my boys. Not too confident. You, Saucy?
I'll tip North Melbourne.
All right, this is a big one for me, mate. I'll sit down and watch this game. Carlton versus Essendon, Sunday night, 7:20.
Big game.
Oh, I know. I need Essendon to win. It's going to be hard.
The back line is decimated. It's going to be a hard game to win. We put up a good fight last week. I'm going to tip Essendon. I'm going to go with my team. I think Carlton, based off the teams that are in, Carlton should win, and they should be deserved favourite. We're going to struggle to match up their tall forwards. But
I'm tipping them too.
don't think it's going to be a pumping, Doma. I think both teams will be up for it, and it's going to be a good game, close game.
I'm tipping the Bombers. And then the last one is Melbourne versus Collingwood. The big freeze.
Collingwood. The big freeze. Collingwood.
I'm tipping the Pies, mate. You know my tipping with the Pies. It's a good luck omen for me. And the bye are the Saints and the Dockers this week. How's the Dockers? They have the bye and then they play North off the bye next week. So they've got a double bye. That's unbelievable. And you wouldn't believe we're playing West Coast in Bunbury, all right, as the Perth game. But you know where we're playing our home game in Perth against Fremantle? Optus Stadium. You couldn't have picked a worse spot as the home game. You're playing in Optus
Why is
Stadium.
the other one there at Optus Stadium?
I have no idea. Maybe because they won't get many people. I don't know. But West Coast got a bigger supporter base than Fremantle. Anyway, get ready for 2 weeks of potential losses if you're a North Melbourne supporter. All right, let's roll on through, Source, because the one thing that we do need to discuss is the Champions League final, because that was played on the morning of the Hobby Hangout on Sunday, and it was a no contest.
No contest. I did say I wanted Inter to win, but we both had this feeling, and even you said, nah, PSG's winning it. And I called it from early on and saying, they're not going to have all these stars, but they're going on this run in the Champions League. And is this the year that they finally win it? PSG wins their first. It is. Not sure you've seen the aftermath after that in Paris, the absolute shenanigans that went on, Dom, and it's just a complete joke. People vandalizing everything and cars being broken, people dead. Just nuts. Just really stupid. Just really stupid, if you ask me, Dom. It's not what football was about and celebrating your team winning. It's just so stupid. But congratulations, PSG. They finally done it. They finally won. And yeah, look, what can we say? It was a demolition job in the end. And Inter Milan, boy oh boy, things could be getting bad to worse. I'm not sure if you've seen there's a story that came out about financial fair play and things. They've been hiding stuff, and who knows? There's links to the mafia within the club. Who knows? Who knows?
That's the one I saw. I think the one I saw is Simone Inzaghi the one that coaches Inter?
Yes.
Yep. He signed as Al Hilal head coach.
There you go. So he's out of there. Yep.
That was this morning.
That too. So I'm not sure how much they're going to get done for. I mean, if Manchester City hasn't been done, I don't think Inter Milan will get done.
But it's just because there is mafia involvement. So whenever there's any of that stuff, it's not good. So,
but yeah, look, well done PSG and the team, and it just goes to show you don't need to have a team full of stars. You just need to have a team that can work together. And obviously have to have quality, but they can work together and work hard and execute a game plan set out by the coach. And that's what they did. They absolutely demolished Inter Milan, obviously, when they got the early goals, and then Inter Milan had to open up. When you go 2 goals down in the first, 30 minutes, 40 minutes or whatever it was of the game, you got to open up, mate. You got to open up. That's football. And they were able to piece them apart after that.
I don't know if you saw the Vitinha goal. The setup for Doué, how he took it from the back third and ran onto pass and ran, and then kept getting the ball back, and he ended up assisting Doué on the goal. All from him, one guy. It was unbelievable how he shifted a whole team's defense, especially an Inter defense, which they're renowned for defending. How he shifted their whole team, which is crazy, unbelievable. Big shout out, of course. You can't go without missing this story, but there's an underlying little, I don't know, gem, if you may call it, that I'm going to bring up in a minute. But got to mention this guy because he scored this morning. He's never beaten Germany in his career. Never beaten Germany or never scored against Germany, all right? And this guy here, scored the winner. Yep, that guy. To send them to the UEFA Nations League final. So you could be winning another international trophy, Source, but that is not the little underlying hidden gem. Do you know who Ronaldo could potentially be playing against in that final, Source?
Who?
The winner of France versus Spain and Lamine Yamal. So potentially, if
When's that on?
Spain
Tomorrow.
if Spain wins and Spain beats Portugal in the final, that is just another trophy to add to Yamal in a calendar year. I'm telling you, I already think he's won the Ballon d'Or. I know some people said he wasn't the best player in his team. Rafinha was. I don't care. I just give it to him. So all eyes on that UEFA Nations League final,
Tomorrow, 5
depending on who
a.m.
plays. So yeah, tomorrow's the semi, France versus Spain, and then the final. I can get you the date. I'll get you the date so we don't want to miss it, mate. We don't want to miss it.
Yeah,
When's the
Nations
final
League.
matches? When's the final? Today? No, we don't care about today. Friday, 6th of June. That's already passed. March. Any chance you can tell me when the final is? I've got to Google it. Anyway, I'll do that.
Come
Anyway.
on, bud.
UEFA Nations League final.
9th of June.
There you go. Fuck. That was hard. 9th of June,
9th of
5 a.m. So when's that? 9th of June? That's on Sunday. 6th, 7th,
Well,
8th,
that's what it says,
9th.
yeah.
On Monday. That's on Monday.
4 days from now.
You ripper. Monday morning.
Monday.
It's a public holiday, mate.
There you go. Get up, watch the
Sui.
Sui himself.
You'll probably lose
Optus
again,
Sport,
but who cares?
I believe it's
mate?
on Optus Sport, Domo, if you've got the here
Sui.
in Australia. It's also on the World Wide Web. You can find it.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Let's keep rolling straight through to the Spanish Grand Prix, and Oscar Piastri wins again. Great stuff. Lando second, Leclerc third, Russell fourth, Hulkenberg fifth, Hamilton sixth, Hadjar seventh, Gasly eighth, Alonso ninth. Where's Max? 10th.
What happened, Doma?
It was a shambles. He was going to finish this race in third. And what ended up happening, they put shit tyres on his car. There was a safety car. Everyone went to the super softs, the red tyres, if you're not sure what they are. And they put the hards on Max Verstappen. Anyway, on the restart, there was a bit of a to and fro with George Russell, who was in fifth at the stage. Max Verstappen was fourth. Oh, sorry. So he wouldn't have finished, top three, because Leclerc overtook him. And then once Leclerc overtook him, George Russell went to do it. He backed out. They thought they touched all this stuff. Anyway, his team comes up on the radio and says, "Oh, you need to give the place back to George Russell." And he's going, "What for? I don't have to give him my place back. What are you talking about?" They kept saying, "Oh, just give him the place back just in case." Blah blah blah. Anyway, so he slows down on a turn, on a curve. And
I
George
seen
Russell-
this. I
and then
seen
he
the
just rams
replay.
him. Then he just
He
rams
bumper
him.
carred him. He
Yeah,
bumper carred him.
So because there was a safety car, there was only a couple laps left. All the times, obviously, the splits were condensed. So cops a 10-second penalty, and he goes from 4th to 10th.
Oh no.
He's lost his marbles.
Max.
No. So he's absolutely bottled it. Absolutely bottled that one. He's done the Lewis Hamilton at Azerbaijan. He's just lost his head. So anyway, good win for Piastri. It's his 5th win for the year. He's still leading the World Championship. Extends
What's
it by
the
another
points
7
totals?
points. Points totals. F1. Got to get them up. Driver standings. Oscar Piastri 186. He's 10 points clear of Lando, and he is now 49 points clear of Max Verstappen.
Oh, he's slowly getting it out there.
Yeah, so it's a 2-horse race at the moment. The next race is the Canadian Grand Prix, which I'll cover next week because there's no race this weekend. So that was the third in the triple header, the Spanish Grand Prix. So that's it. Off to you for some UFC, mate.
Beautiful, mate. Well, as UFC over the weekend, you had Gamrot versus Klein. That was on. And then I'll run through the results just quickly. I'll bring it up so we don't have to muck around with it. I've got it ready. Doma, Gamrot versus Klein over this past weekend, June the 4th. Gamrot got the win over Klein in a third round decision in the lightweight division. You had Ramiz Bahramaj submission over Billy Ray Goff in the welterweight division. You had Dustin Jacoby defeating Bruno Lopez, KO in the first round. Caitlin Vieira defeating Macy Chiasson with a decision over the 3 rounds. And then Zachary Reese defeating Dusko Todorovic with a third round decision in the middleweight division. Prelims, there was a few on the card there as well. You can check those out. I'm not going to run through them, Doma. And then we had this weekend, here we go, Deshevili versus O'Malley, number 2, Doma. It's back. And this is all about, this is all just, can O'Malley defend Merab's takedowns? Will he be able to defend his takedowns this time? We'll see. Has he improved? That's what it's going to be. Generally, Doma, you will see the same thing will repeat itself, especially because Mirab just doesn't tire out. His cardio is amazing. He just keeps going and going and going. And he can also, he can throw punches. He's not just grappler. He's got his own ability to rock O'Malley. So we'll see how these plans out. Bantamweight title bout. Let's see if O'Malley can get it back. He's the underdog. Mirab's the clear favorite, and rightfully so. And then you got the co-main event, women's bantamweight title bout. Juliana Pena against Kayla Harrison. Kayla Harrison, up and comer. I don't know, Doma. Like, how I just think this is ridiculous odds. Like, people just think that Kayla Harrison's going to steam through Pena. And, people thought that with Nunes the first time, and then she beat her, right? So you all think one thing. I don't see how Kayla Harrison is a minus 750 underdog. And if you don't know what that means for you to make $100 profit, you need to put $750 on. So you do the math, what that would be in terms of the usual odds, that we're decimal odds, what we're used to. But that must be what, $1.15 favorite or something like that. So I don't know. I just don't see how that could be the case. So look, I think Harrison will win, but don't be surprised if the champ Pena can pull out a result. Mirab, I think he'll beat O'Malley again. Then you got Calvin Gastelum against Joe Pfeiffer. That's a tough bout. I'll go with Pfeiffer. And then you got Mario Bautista against Patchy Mix. Who's Patchy Mix? That can't be an actual name. They must have forgot to put the bloody person there because it's blank. Vincent Luque against Kevin Holland. I would go with Holland. It's going to be a good fight. Bruno Silva against Joshua Van. Asmat Murkanov against Brendanson Ribeiro. Sergey Spivak against Waldo Cortez Acosta. Chaos Williams against Andreas Gustafsson. Gustafsson is a good fighter. So, look, a good card this weekend. Kicks off from 12 p.m. on Sunday here, Australian Standard Time. I think 10 a.m. will be the prelim card, and I think there's even early prelim, so that's from 8 a.m. So from 8 a.m. you could be watching. There's an Aussie on the card. There you go. Lucky I scrolled down, Doma. Quinlan Salkids against Yanal Ashmos. He's a minus 575 favorite, the Aussie. So punters think he's going to win. Hopefully he can get the job done. He'll be on free to air to view. I think they'll switch over to the main. Once you get to the main card, they switch it over to the main event. But UFC this weekend, it is on. It is big. Tune in, ladies and gentlemen. Doma, I'll also say quick shout out. if you don't know, and you've got obviously everyone, if you've got the Channel 7 on Channel 7, the app, I think even on the
7
station,
now.
I think it might 7 mate or might have one of them, but on a Friday night, there's one Friday fight nights, and it's actually fights over in Thailand that they stream back and they show it live, I believe, here on a Friday night and a later, and then there's also replays. So you can actually watch the replay on the 7 app. So if you're interested in any of that, it's just obviously free content, costs nothing. You can view it. So if you ever, sometimes I'll just chuck it on in the background and have it on while I'm doing something else. So yeah, just thought I'd give that a plug. It's something that I've viewed a few times over the last sort of couple of months and had a bit of interest. So I thought I'll throw it out there if people aren't aware. Combat sports, there's so much to watch, Doma. There is, I can, off the top of my head, I can, you got the UFC, you got the one fight nights, you got the one championship, you got the PFL, you got the bare knuckle fighting that the BKFC that we've given a shout out here on a number of times on this show. It's just, if you want to see people smashing each other, there's something to watch. Let's just say that.
I like it. Oh, 2 seconds.
O'Malley, Pena, and Gastelum, he reckons. I can't pick Gastelum. Not the way he's been fighting recently. He's got a win last time against Rodriguez.
But,
yes,
yeah,
okay.
Very nice. All right, Sauce.
Gastelum.
All right, we got a big hobby talk.
We'll see, Adam. We'll see. We're into hobby talk.
If this shit can close, and I can get my internet back, let's turn off the KO. That's probably what's chewing up me net, my bandwidth. Hobby Hangout XL, mate. It was awesome. It was so good, man. We had a ball. There's so many great people there. It was great to catch up with a lot of people. The flow, it was like flat out till 1:30, I reckon, Sauce. 2 o'clock, would you say? We couldn't do shit at our table. We couldn't get up to go until for the roaming Sauce till about 3 o'clock. So very, very busy. It was good to see a lot of people that listened to the show.
Had some good conversations. Honestly. People came up and said, "I've listened to your show. What's your opinion on this and this?" And it was good to have a chat with a few people. People trying to sell you cards. I bought some cards as well. Sold some cards. Did okay. I didn't think it was like, some people did better than others, and I think it all depends on the stuff that you have. For me, I didn't really think, and no one really bought a bit on the higher end cards that I had available there, but it is what it is. I still was able to sell some lower end cards and $50 cards and $80 cards and a few bundle cards. One card that I forgot to price, Doma, and I honored the price that I had on there. $25. I sold a Prism Mosaic SGA to someone at $25, and I looked up the card and it was $100 card. $100 card. I forgot to reprice it.
You're a good man, Sauce. I'll tell you. Because any other lemon would have did the old card trick. Definitely just made it disappear.
Yeah, I know. You can do that on one night if you want.
Yeah. Well, we tried. Well, good news, ladies and gentlemen. I'll put a tile out and I'll put it in our story tomorrow. But we had some technical difficulties with the roaming Sauce, which, in all honesty, I went and watched it back, and you can watch it back. It's on YouTube. Only 15 minutes. If you go to our videos and
click live, that's where you'll find it. Yep.
Only 15 minutes saved, and it was an all-time. It was shaping up to be an all-time roaming Sauce because we had
just
a lot
warming up because we had planned to do about 45 minutes, and we were going in a certain ray of the room, and we'd planned it, and we wanted to go up to a few different things, and we started with Golden, and we were working our way around the room. We had Cherry on there.
Magda features. Andy's Toy Story, who's doing a good job at the moment with his channel. So shout out to Andy's Toy Story. He did a roaming Andy. Yeah, he did a good job. He's actually was completed. So well done.
Wonder where he's ripped that from. Jeez, original Andy, mate. Come on, bro.
He's got far left content apparently. So yeah. So yeah, we rectified that. If you haven't already seen his roaming Andy, he actually rectified. He actually went back and found the clip of when we spoke about him. And I tell you what, we looked a lot younger. I think that was pre-children source, so obviously we've aged a lot since then. But yeah, Andy did some great stuff, and yeah, we're just warming up. As Source said, we had Rejuvit, who we're going to go up to, who is the Australian version of Kurt's Cum Care. Big
Didn't
John
think I'd ever see
O'Michael.
it, but they were there, and people were lining up their stall to have a look what they had.
Big John O'Michael's the fan favourite. Couldn't even go up to him.
Yeah,
We
seen
had
him there.
Card Fever. We were going to go up to Jakey in the crew. Didn't get a chance to do that. We might have and not for anything, because the way we were walking around and stuff, we would have gone up to Boomer Harvey because apparently, well, not apparently, we saw him just sitting at the table doing nothing. There was no one there because everyone had got their
Correct.
signatures. We would have gone up to him. So we were spewing, man. Yeah. Anyway, but we're lucky we got Golden on there. Source actually asked the rep if he'd played golf on Ken's golf. It was actually very good. It was very good Source by you. I must admit. You got Dale Bag and Grayson from Cherry, which is great. You always seem to get an employee at Cherry bad mouthing Grayson Cherry Boss. So it was very good. We had
Clearly,
Steve
he's a
from
good boss to work for.
Yeah,
Clearly.
exactly. We had Steve from Pokeology on there, who Steve actually sold me my family car Source, if I haven't told you that story already.
There you go.
So yeah, he very funny. Went to go look at cars, and all of a sudden Steve's like, "What are you doing here?" And it was very funny. He's like, "Double coverage." I'm like, "Oh, wait, you're at a car show." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm Pokeology." And I'm like, "Fuck, what the hell?" Anyway, he gave me a good price on the car. That's
There you go. Hobby connections,
yeah,
mate.
yeah.
There you go, ladies and
He
gentlemen. It
he
works
sold
all
me.
more than one ways.
He sold me my car on Whatnot. I was the only one in the auction. So. Oh, Christ. Holy shit. Anyway, it was good Source. It was a great show. And just your feedback in terms of the space, the lighting,
Yeah,
the
look, lighting
smell.
was good. The venue, it was massive. There was so much space to walk. You didn't get hot in there. There was plenty of room to move. And yeah, from all reports, everyone that I spoke to, they were happy with everything. The lighting was good in there. You didn't need to really have your own lights set up for your cases or anything like you've had to do in the past at other shows. So yeah, look, it was good. It was good, Doma, and I think this is something they can build on. I feel like they worked it well. They probably could even people said there was a lot of vendors, and they could probably even fit more vendors.
Yeah,
If you ask me, Doma, if they
definitely
wanted
could have.
to.
Definitely could have. You
Yeah.
had the
So
whole space where the stage was there. There was a few more spots there on the other side as well, where the player signings were.
yeah.
Because effectively, you can just move the player signings up onto the stage during those allocated times and put more vendors there. So you can probably fit probably another 8 vendors potentially in there. So
Plenty more. Yeah, look, it was there was so much to do. There was a stage, there was, obviously you had a whole bunch of everyone's different booths and everything to go up. And there was people, there was also some comics there. There was also some people, I think I seen some pop selling. I even seen some other stuff, a few other collectibles and things. And
there was
so
the Labubus. The
Labubus
Labubus.
that everyone's going after at the
The
moment.
Lapupus.
The La Poo-Poos.
Yeah.
Is that what we're calling it? La
That's
Poo-Poos,
well,
like Meta Poo?
yeah.
Is that what we're calling it?
The Lapupus. That's what we're running with, mate. Lapupus, for sure. You've muted, by the way. So yeah, it was a good show. Very, very good show. So yeah. What can I say? We had even Trident was up there doing breaks, and yeah, it was great. It was very, very good. Feedback. what can I say? Didn't smell. Toilets were big. Wasn't hot. We had our jumpers on the whole time. Didn't stink. I don't know what else I can say, mate. It was unbelievable. So really, really good. Bit of inside word. Um, next hobby hangout, there won't be another XL. It's going to go back to Melbourne Pavilion, ladies and gentlemen. There will be another show up in Melbourne Pavilion. Yes, I understand once
Yeah.
you get something of that caliber, you don't want it to go away. You want it always there, but it's always a cost thing. I understand. But the next
It's a
one will be
cost
at
thing, and
Melbourne
it could also
Pavilion.
be a venue availability thing
Yeah,
as well.
but that's okay. If we get one at the exhibition centre, exhibition building, and one at Melbourne Pavilion, you take it, mate, every year.
Yep,
Then you still got
I
the Oz
agree.
National coming up. You got Collect Fest. I know it's not just cards, but you got another like collectibles and trading cards event. Tyson Beck, shout out to him. He's going to be at that. Um, got all the Melbourne card fairs. You got Darabin. You got the Toy Fair, comics and collectibles. We are sport for choice at the moment here in Victoria. We are sport for choice. So what can we say, mate? Yeah, we're going to be a feature, I think, to be honest, for a long, long time. And we may have made some inroads in a certain department for a special guest of the athletic ability. So we'll see how our leads
Yeah,
go.
look, you stick around long enough, you know what I mean? You stick around long enough, you speak to people like we do, Doma, and slowly you're making inroads. And we're hoping, it's always been a goal to get athletes on, and also athletes that collect, that we know buy cards and things like that, because we know there's a few out there. And get them on to have a chat. So we're hoping to make some inroads on that, Doma, and get someone on by the end of the year, and maybe multiple. We'll see how we go.
So there we go. But definitely, yeah.
And have them on and have a bit of a chat. But it was a banging show. Look, I can't talk of it highly enough. I can't really talk about much of the other, things that went on, the things on the stage and that sort of stuff. One thing that was spoken to us, Andrew came around and had a chat, and the organizer, and it was good. He said, maybe next time we could have our own space to do sort of live podcasts from there. So I think that maybe that's something that could have potential at the next Hobby Hangout XL, where there's plenty of space there to move.
All the guests
and
are there
roam.
too.
Yep, there's so many guests there, so we can sort of go off and grab them and have them all on a podcast, and never know, Dom, and you never know. We could do if permitting of being able to get the access to obviously steady Wi-Fi and not having to rely on a mobile connection, we could actually do a live stream that spans the whole of the day and just constantly live stream from our booth, and then just bring people on and talk at different times. And then
They can rip
obviously,
their products. They can talk
yep,
about their brand. They can do all that
yep,
type of stuff. We've got the
yep.
ideas. We know what we need to do. We just need to get the opportunity to do it. If we do, then don't worry. It'll be the best. As you saw during, not for anything, you got a taste of it when we did the Hobby Hangout online. If you remember back then, when we had Jesse, old mate
Yep,
Jesse from Top Shot, that jumped on as the special guest, and we interviewed him. And
correct.
then turned that stream into literally a live podcast, and we had people from the community jumping on. We had Tyson Beck jump on. We had Cage jumped on. We had people all over the place jumping on, and that stream went for I think an hour and 45 minutes. So we know our capabilities. We just need to be able to get the opportunity to get it to that point. But we'll keep doing what we're doing for you. You just keep following and subscribing and buying us Russian bots, and we'll be around for a very long time. So
That is the key to success.
yeah, well, Andy's Toy Story. No, we're not going to spoil it, but he asked for some advice when in the roaming source, and you just have to go see it to believe it. Some of the shit that we gave him as advice. Um, I've got packs here from Nobby Rips, so I'll rip these on the show. He handed these out, and he said, "Rip them." I said, "Nah, you know what? We'll rip them on the pod. We'll give you a shout out."
I
Nobby's
don't know
rip.
where mine are, Dom, so you can rip
That's right,
yours,
I'll
and
rip them.
I'll find mine. And I'll rip mine next week.
And also a special shout out to a certain somebody. I'll clip this too, and I should put this out. But you just need to remember, Hobby Hangout. If you need to change your collecting ways, Saucy, by all means, you can change your collecting ways. You don't have to be always. So don't be so stringent on the way you collect. You can change it up here and there, mate. Don't stress. So,
Oh,
all right, what have I got here? It's Japanese. That's all base. All right, first pack all base. Now, Nobby, I'm telling you, you better not have scanned this with a scanner. I'll tell you, or else I'm going to get 2 base packs. All right, CT scan your cards. I've got 2 base packs. So you've weighed the packs. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. No, thank you so much for giving these out.
Appreciate it. He was giving out a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we said we'd rip it on the show for him as
Thanks,
well. Give him
mate.
a plug. He's an absolute legend, man. And my favorite moment of the show, all right, was honestly we were absolutely spewing. Sauce and I were depressed as shit because the roaming source didn't work, and Saucy had all these packets to give out, all these cards, all these Pokemon cards. He had top loaded Charizard holos to give out, all this stuff. And we're sitting there at the cabinetry booth.
We were standing speaking to someone, and we just turned away, and we're about to walk off somewhere else, and a little kid comes up to us, and his mum's trailing behind him, and he comes up and he holds up 2 Pokemon cards, and he was obviously a bit shy to speak, but his mum goes, "Oh, he just wanted to give these cards to someone." I said, "Oh, no worries, mate. Appreciate it." And Dom took one, and there was 2 cards. I took one, and I reached into my pocket, and I pulled out a Charizard and a top load, and I said, "Here, mate, this is for you." And he goes, and his mum couldn't believe it that I gave him a Charizard. Even his mum knew it
his
wasn't.
mouth
And
honestly hit the floor. His jaw
his
dropped.
face was just priceless, absolutely priceless.
Awesome.
And that's why we give out that stuff to hopefully kid remembers that on the day, and it brightens his day, and he puts that card in his collection, and hopefully one day he trades it off for something better and builds on the collection. It wasn't anything expensive, ladies and gentlemen. It was maybe like a $10 Charizard. It was not much at all. So yeah, it was just that was probably the highlight of the day. It would have been amazing to be able to get that on roaming source if we were having to do the roaming source at the time, and you would have all been able to see it. But we'll obviously give it a shout out. It was one of the highlights of the day. And then other than that, it was just a ripper day. And I think I highly suggest anyone who wasn't able to attend, definitely, if it is announced, and there's obviously like this one, there was a big lead up, you knew about it for a long time. Even if you live interstate, yes, I suggest it is definitely a show to come from interstate. I will say there were people who were saying there is a lot of TCG, but that's the hobby here.
Moment, man.
That's the hobby here. Like it is a lot of TCG, and you see that when you go to Oz National. People said the same thing about Oz National. There will be your guys that do sports and things like that. There is also guys that don't want to, that have some stuff, but they don't want to pay the amount for the tables that it costs at certain shows and things like that. So, it is what it is. Like that's you can't really complain about certain things. You just have to fit in where the shows. And the good thing is you have shows that have a lower price point at your tables as well, Doma. So there's something for you to
for everyone, mate.
There's a show for everyone. If you want to set up, if you want to go, there's a show for everyone. And there's many shows on throughout the year here, Doma in Melbourne. So it's good to see. And as I said, it was. We had people coming over from Adelaide. You would have seen that if you watched the roaming source, whatever got out of it, the 15 minutes. We had people coming from Adelaide and setting up who hadn't set up before. So it was really really good to see, Doma. And look, it will. It's just building. It's just building. Big event organizers are getting into the space, and as you talked about Collect Fest, we did a bit of research. I did a bit of research on Collect Fest. I think Collect Fest, should this obviously be a successful run of events, it will have legs to stay around, because the organizers are actually a company that's been around for over 30 years and has organized numerous events over that 30-year span of, at big scales. So
I'm going to
I
get there, mate. Whether I'm half cut or not, I'll be there, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think, we check it out. We check it out, Doma. We checked out Tracon. We had fun there. It was disappointing to see what's happened, evolved there.
Yeah,
Hope and I said when Collect Fest come out, I want to do more research. I wouldn't buy anything for Collect Fest unless I researched that the people behind this are actually a well organized company, and it seems to be that they are. If you look into them, they have all their details on the Collect Fest. You can find who's the sub company behind organizing all of this.
And of course, we got into Oz Comic Con as well, so we've been to them all, man. And that was the biggest waste of time was that one for trading cards. That, honesty, it was.
Yeah, so, it is.
Yeah.
Look, I think Collect Fest has been promoted a bit more as trading cards. I think they'll have other stuff as well there. It's not just advertised primarily as trading cards. So it'll be interesting. But we look forward to it. After a big Hobby Hangout XL, we get a little bit of a break, but then I think it's only a month away, Doma. Only a month away. Collect Fest. So we'll obviously, if you can get down there, ladies and gentlemen. Something to do. But it should be interesting. And once again, Hobby Hangout XL
was a big win. Good stuff, Andrew and the team.
It was a good win. Yeah, like they did well with it. They did well with it.
It was good. On that note, on a nice positive note, good to see everyone there. Good stuff. Keep the shows rolling, and that's it from us. Keep living, loving, and breathing sport. I'm Dom with the Great Man Sauce. Peace out.
Peace out, ladies and gents. Like and subscribe. Thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to leave a review on the Apple Podcasting app. Also, follow us on socials: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Talking all sports. Double curve.